Kendrick Lamar has been exposed for having a ghostwriter. And guess what? It doesn't matter. But before the Drake stands get their OVO shirts in a twist, let's talk about Kendrick Lamar's frequent collaborator, Sam Dew. And as the great Push T would say, let's peel this back layer by layer. You may not know Sam as an artist, but you've heard him tons of times. On Mr. Morale, he actually does the background vocals for the intro and for many other parts of the album. It's one of the things that I think really brings the album together and makes it a cohesive and really amazing project. Now, when it comes to top tier lyricists like Kendrick Lamar, I really try to give them benefit of the doubt when it comes to writer accusations. I mean, after all, Sam Dew is on Mr. Morale, but he's the background guy. That being said, though, on GNX, he's on multiple tracks, and on my two favorite tracks, Dodger Blue and Luther, he's featured as a writer, but his voice is nowhere to be found. And this doesn't really surprise me. If you listen to Dodger Blue and you listen to Luther, they're not rap songs. They're very, very melodic, relaxed, chill, you know, vibe songs. They're the type of songs you put on when you invite a girl over and you want to hang and, get a little close. There's nothing wrong with that. Every rapper needs those songs. I don't know about you guys, but I like Kenny with the melodies. I don't like Kenny when he act tough. This is this type of stuff that I wish he had started doing a while ago. Because I think it's something that he's kind of good at, whether he's writing it himself or he's collaborating with somebody else and just coming out with these tracks. Kendrick Lamar is a tremendous writer. He can really take you to some great emotional places, but I feel like very often the emotional spectrum that he acts from is anger and sadness. He definitely has some happy songs. He definitely has some fun songs. Hold Up is one of my favorite songs that he's ever made. But if we're talking about the majority of his emotional spectrum, it's usually on the darker side. So it's nice to see him kind of lighten up a little bit and have a little bit of fun. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Sam Dew wrote both of those songs, or at least Luther with SZA. If you listen to any of his work, you should go check it out on YouTube. It's fantastic, but it sounds exactly like those songs sound. It's definitely his bag. She knows how to do melodic stuff. He knows how to do melodic stuff. It's lightning in a bottle. And while I know that Kendrick is a top tier lyricist, I think the melodic, chill, sexy stuff isn't exactly his strong suit. Not saying he can't do it. I love Loyalty. I love that song Love off Damn. It's fantastic, but it's not something that comes to him naturally. Kendrick is collabing with Sam because he wants songs that are a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more melodic. He's trying to fill the space that Drake has left right now, and a space that Drake might not go back into for quite a while. The whole thing about Drake with the melodies and he's soft and he's a pop star, I think got to him among many other things. But I think now when Drake comes back, he's not really going to be so keen on doing softer songs. I think he's going to go for a lot more hard rapping style, and not talking tough, but just lyricism, just like he did with the Fighting Irish freestyle. And so that's what he's trying to give them. But of course, Kendrick, as the amazing strategist that he is, probably already knows that, probably already anticipated it. And that's why him and his whole camp are trying to reach a more melodic, chill sound to fill the gap that Drake has left. And I know this is something that a lot of Kendrick fans are probably upset about. There's a lot of people into hip hop, and the idea of a top tier lyricist like Kendrick Lamar having somebody write any of his music is very upsetting. As much as past generations want to act like ghostwriters and collaborations in the studio didn't really happen, they happened all the time.
I never met Foxy Brown, you feel what I'm saying? And dude, they come in like Bonnie and Clyde, like Bobby and Whitney, some real loud shit. You dig what I'm saying? Back and forth. We grooving, they feeling the track. The music calm they madness down. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
Foxy grooving. Hey, Foxy was so much into it, she wrote Corrupt's first verse.
Cool.
You dig what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all go back and listen to the record where the gangster's at. That's Foxy Brown. She wrote his first verse.
Writing for other people has always existed, and it's a major part of the business. And some of your biggest legends have had songs written for them by other people. It might not be the whole song, it might not be all their bars, but hooks for sure. And a couple bars or two. Deal with it, nigga.
A number of writers that have written for me that I don't have to change anything, and I could just take it and just work with it and let it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm open like that. And a lot of times when you writing for somebody, you're actually writing in their voice as opposed
Okay.
to Snoop Dogg gonna write a song for Shannon where Shannon gonna sound like Snoop. Nah, Shannon gonna sound like Shannon. It's just depend. For example, the song Still DRE,
Right.
Dr. Dre song.
Right.
Jay-Z wrote that song.
Just know every time you've ever seen a video of one rapper being in the studio and there's like 20 of his friends smoking blunts in the studio, that every once in a while, when he would come out of that booth, one of his friends, after smoking a blunt, would be like, hey, yo, after you said that, say this. And sometimes he would listen to his friend, and sometimes he would go back in there and record a classic. That's not something that people want to say because it's not really good to talk about how the sausage gets made. And hip hop is such a singular thing. It's a me type thing, which I think is perfect for internet culture. Internet culture is all about who's the number one guy and who can we tear down for not being number one, which is something that hip hop has been doing before the internet even existed. Hip hop is changing. There's a lot of old heads who might be watching this video right now and being like, oh man, Meth would never do that. Redman would never do that. Biggie would never do that. But guess what? None of them are as big as Kendrick Lamar is now. It's just true. Back in the 90s, back in the 80s, when hip hop was really bubbling for the first time, just becoming popular, it was pretty much something that only black people liked. I'm not saying that other races weren't into it and weren't interested in the culture. Sure, they were, whatever. But now hip hop, like I said in my last video, is the new pop music, and it has been for quite a long time. Now, these guys, when they're famous, their fame goes into the stratosphere. Not to mention, they're also competing with internet culture. Everything's hot for 1 second and cold the next, and you have to constantly come out with material in order for it to last, even if it's amazing. Even if it's amazing. That's why I never really got too upset about Drake using ghostwriters. Because if you listen to a lot of those songs that are written by other people or collaborated with other people, they're songs that don't really mean anything. It's like mob ties. It's like, all right, it's fucking mob ties. It's literally the same 3-4 sentences over and over and over again. And it's just a vibe. It's cool. It gets you going. It's hot. I'm not saying it's not hot, but it's just something that like gets you going, but it doesn't have much meaning to it. Same with Jumbotron Shit Poppin'. That song doesn't really have any meaning. It's just about the vibe. It gets you hyped up. Today's hip hop, it's just a different ball game, and people need to get used to it. Back in the day, when a rapper wanted to make a romantic, chill song, he would collaborate with an R&B singer. In today's hip hop, he is the R&B singer, which means he has to write twice as much while still being lyrically potent. That's a very hard thing to do, especially when you're touring across the world and you're as big as Kendrick Lamar or Drake or J. Cole. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of these guys have proved that they're good enough at lyricism that every once in a while they can have somebody throw them something, and I still see them as a premier lyricist and as an amazing musician. And I think other people should too, because they put in their time, they paid their dues, and as long as the music is good, I'm here for it. Now, if Kendrick had writers on the song free, I would be very upset. And he doesn't, okay? I checked. Don't worry, you're good. You can relax now. Take a deep breath. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know some of you guys are going to be salty about the I like Kenny with the melodies comment, but I'm here for it. Let's fucking go. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. I'll see you later. Peace.